right, all you devils, happy Friday. Oh, here we are. It's about 1:15 for me, Friday the 17th. So, of course, we're going to look at Bitcoin. Oh, I've got Bitcoin and three, we call them major alts, I guess we'll call them that. Kind of teed up here that may see some benefit if when the ETFs are coming. Now, with kind of a hurry up and wait, a little more delay apparently than was hoped for by the market. Looks like it now best case for the SEC is mid-January. We'll see. My view, it's not a matter of if, just a matter of when. So perhaps a little pre-positioning, maybe a little fear off of that news that it got pushed out. Yeah, I don't think it changes much, right? It's not going to change our count here, but it might create some of the retracements that we're looking for so we can get on board some of the coins that are already starting to move. So let's start here. This is, someone, I don't know if it was a member or not, but one of my YouTube subs, it was under last week's video, he asked for a long-term count on Bitcoin. I did something similar with the S&P last week. So he asked for this. I thought, well, it's not a bad time to do this. So this is over on Brave New Coin. This is the liquid index. I can get a full history, so we go back to a penny. So it's a good one to use. Now, it does lag by a day. It won't change anything here. Now, I will tell you, this is the more conservative count of the long-term counts that I have. If I put the more bullish on, people are going to think I'm smoking my own supply. We'll bring that out if we need to. That would be a high-class problem. But more conservatively, I think this is not unreasonable that we did complete an impulse up here, right? At our 2018 high of 20K. We did complete an impulse here. You could interpret it differently, but let's say with the more conservative, we did get a 2. Would be a shallow 2. No, this is the God MA. That's the 233, or pardon me. That's the average of the 200. EMA and SMA, right? I've mentioned it many times, but I can't assume everybody knows it. So there's the 1-2 coming right. Well, note here, I don't have enough history here for a 200, but bang, right? COVID, we got through it here on FTX, but now we're back rolling above. So it looks like perhaps, right? We're at a spot that would be of interest to long-term bulls. You'll note down here, I've got the logarithmic MACD. It's the LMACD. All right, kind of give us a better feel here. So if we open this up a bit, you see the MACD is starting to open up a little bit here, and per this count. Now, I've long been an advocate and have encouraged people that. Let me bring that down a little bit. Where's my 5? There it is. There we go. The Elliott Wave always easier to spot long term, right? So this is a weekly chart. This was always a little bit somewhat surprising, right? It's still to this day, it doesn't quite look right, but right, because we had the you look at it, right? At this view, it's not terrible. It's just the 4-5 didn't really fit with the 1-2, which is why for so long I was quite sure that we were going to do a triangle and go. Right? Well, FTX are going to put an end to that thinking. Okay, well let's look where we are. Okay, well if this is 1-2, and then here from our this was the first real collapse after the 20K high. Let's get you back in there. Where we went down to 3, 1, then COVID, and then the rip 4-5. Here's the retrace. Now it's pretty reasonable, a little front run on the 50. So we're pulling from, so this being a completed impulse, that's the premise, right? We've got a completed impulse here. So you get here, I've probably done 2 years worth of videos on that correction. So we can complicate it, but let's just call it corrective, right? Just to keep it simple. Okay, so there's the corrective move down to the 50, right? We don't overlap this one, right? Again, things that don't happen randomly. It wouldn't have invalidated the count, but it is interesting that we come to this structure here and we pivot just in front of it. You see the turn in the MACD, right, where we go positive there as well. And now this was a tricky, and it has been. Come here. It has been a tricky count coming up here. Get these, move around. This has been tricky. At this distance, though, it seems a little bit easier to spot. Like, oh, what's the big fucking deal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC, right? We go sideways. What? On a weekly chart, right? Again, that's what I mean. Here's a pretty good example of why I would propose to you that Elliott is always, the higher the time frame, it's going to be easier to spot. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can, let's just do this, right? We call this our 2, right? Going sideways. So we'd call that a sideways. We'd call it a flat. You can get an ABC into that. Not quite a double bottom here, and then now we start to launch, right? So when you kind of break it down like this, all of a sudden it doesn't seem so difficult, does it, right? Now we're looking here and we go, okay, well, that's 1, 2. Well, what would just standard ops? Well, right? Wouldn't that be the first thing we do? Where's the most probable location for the 3 here? Well, that would suggest that we're going to take out the old high. Hang on. That's 1618, right? 77 and change. Seasonality's going for us. We got the ETF looming in the background. Would you, I suppose you can make the case here that this is corrective. Perhaps at this distance. Well, hang on. Sorry, allergies are a bitch today. Okay, right, so perhaps, I'm often accused of being too bullish. Where's the bear count? But reluctantly, I bring these in, right? So you could probably talk yourself into some sort of a 5 here. You're going to be very challenged to get a clean finish there. But let's just say hey man, you're telling me it's easier to spot long term. Okay, well let's call maybe that's a 5. Well, if that's a 5, why would we assume anything other than a 3 here before we're going much lower? It's not a ridiculous argument by any means, right? It's I guess to a large degree is how you interpreting this, and then we could just do it this way, right? Oh shit, come here. We could just call this, well, if it's a 1, it certainly could be an A. If it's a 2, it could be a B. And if we're going up here, well, how are we going to know? How would anybody know? Oh shit, is that 1, 2, 3? Oh, well, there'll be a few tells. Oh, yeah, you can kind of see this setting up here, right? And we got a big supply zone up here. Oh, why not that? That's a really valid stance to take in the market. Why not that? Oh, 5 down, 3 up. You're always telling me how 5s and 3s. Well, I guess to some degree, it's a function of how you're interpreting this move. Damn it, hang on. 5, 3, A, B. Well, things that will be telling here, to where, I guess to some degree, it's your perspective on the future of Bitcoin. Right? So if you're a Bitcoin bear and you just think, oh, this is all just a big fucking Ponzi scam, this is probably what you're thinking, right? If you're bearish of the whole industry, right, you can't be, well, it'd be surprising to be bearish Bitcoin but bullish alts, I suppose, right? I can't speak for people, but that would surprise me a little bit. But if you think the whole thing is just a giant scam, right, and there's no actual value here, well, for all I know, you're in the majority. I think that most of the people in the crypto space would take the other side of that argument. But it really becomes a matter of how you interpreting this, right? How are you interpreting that? Impulsive or corrective? It's not like, oh, well, it can't possibly be this. It's not, right? So, you could look at it and say, okay, well, hey, maybe we need to get down here to the golden zone at 10, 11, right? That was always kind of a threat since we're pulling from this. All we're doing is just looking at this and declaring this as a completed impulse and then working through the correction. Well, are we done here? That was November 21 through November 22. That's exactly, damn near exactly a year. And if you look at it, it's hard not to see the potential for that to be a 5, right? Until you get down here where it finishes as a 3. It does. So you're a little bit, that's let me go to a daily here. You're gonna be really challenged getting a clean finish here as a 5. Ugh, I mean, I'm even with your most aggressive, force fit, still. I don't see a clean answer there. I don't think you can do. I don't think you can get a clean 5. 1, 2, you got no 3. I suppose you could get truncation, but that's a dirty word to an elitician, right? That's absolute last resort. We don't need to do that, right? That's pretty good looking 3, pretty good looking 5 here, open to interpretation, right? So I mean, I get, right? I mean, I'm always on here expressing my bullish view because that's what I believe is we're headed towards, right? I think it's drop dead simple. I think this is just the evolution of money. But for 5 years I've been doing this. I've always said there's only two major things we can think of, right? There's the black swan that nobody thinks of. Okay, that's there. Well, so what are the 2 things, right? Somehow something that knocks the power out. Power grid's out, right? Your Bitcoin's not very useful. Is that nuclear? I mean, come up with your own disaster scenario. That could kill it. What else could kill it? The only other thing that really could kill it is governments. And I don't know, they can't kill it. They just slow it down. Well, look what they've done in the U.S. They have slowed it down deliberately. Are they going to keep doing it? All right. Are they going to let the thing, supply and demand take over? Well, it'd be nice if we could reduce the number of scams that keep getting published and people are experiencing. I just saw another one yesterday. Some other exchange just blew up, fucked a bunch of people. Hang on. All right, back to the chart here. So, I'm now down to a daily. Okay. Well, let's look at the bullish count first, right? So if this is 1, 2, and again, we'll label it up with the intention of getting some measuring here, right? Here, let's take this up. Right, so it's either a 3 or a C here. Now we will have put in a new all-time high here. That would take some really big cojones to be selling that. Now you could make the case, right, that maybe there's a short-term play here because we can all deduce that there's liquidity above that pivot, right? That's almost silly, right? Yeah, of course there's going to be stops up there, but are we going to run it and then collapse? It'll be interesting to see, right? As we approach it, right? There's going to be a lot of volatility as we get there. Now, what's it going to take to run? That's another 50%. I don't think we're doing that without the ETFs, right? But when the assuming they come, right? I mean, even still here at the 1618, it could be an expanded B. It could be, right? I mean, you can't eliminate this as a 3 wave. Well, if we get up here, okay, if you're long from anywhere down here, oh shit, we're not going to get there. Let's rebuild it. Damn, I'm really having trouble today. Hopefully, you guys don't realize how many times I'm having to pause that to deal with these fucking allergies. Anyway, I digress. Okay, well, let's look at the count. If it's 1, 2, and we're going up for 3, well, big hurdle here. What's the other big hurdle, right? Where's Al, right? We got to clear Al. Look at Al's right in front of that. Okay, well, Al's right there. What's that? 39.40. We get on the other side of Al, right? So it would be easy to think, oh, okay, we broke the algo. Oh, we're right into the supply. Oh. Well, if that were the case, right, we've already got this marked out here as the 3, right? So if this 1, 2, now the market is not obligated to do this, right? It's just where it tends to go in a 3. Now, Bitcoin, it's its own beast, right? So it could certainly go beyond that for its 3. But if we're up here for the 3, you could still have a C because this could be an A, B, and then we're heading down. If we're doing this likely, and we're in 24, the ETFs have been approved, Bitcoin, probably 6, 7, 8 of them, ETH likely right around the corner, if not at the same time. Boy, that's going to be like I said, that's going to take some seriously large cojones to sell that. Well, so how would we know, right? We're not going to know until we see what comes off of it, right? You never know until you see what comes off of it. Now, right there, right? Do you know? Oh, it's a 4. No, you don't know. Nothing says that couldn't keep going and turn into a 5, right? And then it's A, B, C, and then we're into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the, well, depending on the structure of it. We're heading down to challenge this low to head towards the golden zone. If we fall over here, if we don't get the right kind of 4 here. Now we're sideways here, so you could get something sharper here. You could, right? Oh, so think how that could play. Sweep the highs. Oh, everybody in crypto is just buying hands over fists. Okay, well, when everybody's that bullish, right? We're all vulnerable. There will be people that will be buying here at the highs, always are. So all of a sudden, it would be fairly easy, right, for a whale to make them very nervous. Right? What does the whale want? He wants their Bitcoin, right? So when they start to sell, right, well, there's a whale to pick it up. Right, and then off they go, right? So that's my primary, but I don't want to, until I can eliminate the bear count, right? I guess, maybe I'm doing a disservice to technicians to not emphasize. It's just not what I think is going to happen. Right? I mean, I'd give it 80-20. I think 80% odds we complete as an impulse here, 20% it's an ABC, and we're doing this. 80-20, I'll take those odds, as I talk about all the time. Okay, well, let's get over here and talk about where we are right now. That's all kind of that's the bull porn. It's kind of fun, right? Look at where it could be going. Okay, well, let's get down into, well, here, this is a daily. It's not that much dramatically different, except I'm over here on BitGet, right? It's our sponsor, right? So I'm where I can, I'm always going to show the charts on BitGet. It's not just because they sponsor us. It's a really high quality exchange. I'm really pleased with it. Now, it's a little problematic if you're in the States, but if you're not, but it's a quality exchange, right? I'm really pleased with it, and they've taken very good care of us. Okay, anyway, here we go. So 1, here's the 2. Now we break it down here. Okay, well, there's Al, right? We're about to tap him, right? And see, hey, you there? Well, note, right? So he's right here. Right here at some potential, right? It's always just potential. It's potential supply. That's the last little swing before we heading down. Here you see this. This was kind of interesting in the low volume node, right? So here I like to point this out. These are, things to pay attention to, right? A low volume node like that. Well, so why is it low volume? It's not like, oh, it's low volume here, so let's look. It didn't trade here, which creates low volume. So this was kind of critical. Well, now we're coming up to this. This would be the next low volume we have here. So one possibility here, if we're going to stall here, looks like we need a 4. We're going to come down here. We'd be right at that low volume node, just as we were down here. And now there's a fair value gap here that I've marked out. So we have imbalance here. Market's going to do one of two things. Either it's going to come to it and reverse, or it's going to just fall right through it because there's no support there. Right, so for the bull case, we'd like to come right to the edge of it. Well, here, same thing. Can I get that out of there? No, that's not what I want. I want this one. Let's shrink that up a little bit. So you see what I'm highlighting here. Okay, there's this one. Now we're going to do the same thing here. Here. Right, now that 50 is not relative to anything that's happening here, right? So we would have to, let's hide that. Oh shit, come here. Let's hide that one. Okay, so now we're looking here going, okay, what's there? Well, it's the structure is really what I'm identifying here. We've got the structure, and then I've got this fair value gap here. Imbalance, right? It went so fast, right? But the thinking being, if we come back to the edge of it, perhaps there's some unfilled orders there, right? That get picked up, and then off we go. We don't know, right? Because we could see them in the order book, and then they get pulled at the last second. I mean, it happens I see it in the S&P every single day, right? They kind of wave the flag, come get them, and then they pull it at the last second because the market will move to them, right? It'll move to the liquidity because that's what these algorithms are doing, right? What's the purpose of the market? To facilitate trade. Where's the trade? Where there's liquidity. Where there's liquidity. Oh, that's my Photoshop updating. Okay, so we have this to come back to. Now, well, if you're sitting here and you're not in Bitcoin, or well, I'm going to assume you've got some, but you'd like more, right? You're looking for the next entry. Well, that's pretty attractive right here. Note also if I bring it over, we come right to the edge here, right? The markets like to react on these ledges. Once we get in here, it gets a little bit more like, oh, fuck, anything could happen in here. We could drop down back here and test this. But if this is going to hold as an impulse, the anticipation is this should hold here. And then if we start to add oh, pardon me, wrong pull. My 2 is here at the POC. Let's pull from the 2 through that pivot. And let's get our wave 4 on. Oh, fuck, come here. Wave 4. Well, look where that lines up. Now, it's putting ideas together. Okay, 1, 2. A little shallow here. Shallow. We're going to do the 38. We're going to make the 50. There's no requirement that it do either, but I'm sure paying attention. If right? I know we don't have this yet. This is they're putting it off till January. Oh, maybe, well, shit, maybe we buy it anyway. That's just the volatility. That's news driven. But look at the nice double down here. We come right back to the edge of value here, where we have this high volume node reaction. Now, what's coming out of that? Oh, I mean, that's a crapshoot. Heads I buy, tails I sell. Right? There's no real and we're sitting smack dab in the middle of it. So my view is here, there's an internal impulse here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This gets a little wonky. You might even have to do it here. Oh shit, I don't know that it matters, right? So we've got a nice double up here. What we want is an opportunity to buy a retracement. Right now, either one of these, I think, would be, this would be last dance. So if it were me, I mean, it is me, right? I mean, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Let me say it this way. So I'm going to put a portion on here, a portion on here, and last entry here. So I'm splitting that between 34 and change, 33 and change. Last buy-in would be around 31 and change. Stop. Oh, I wouldn't do it with a whole lot of leverage myself. Right? I don't need to. So, I wouldn't let it come back down here, right? And this wouldn't be massive amount of size, right? There's just no reason to do that, because as it sits right now, if this is going up here to complete, right, there's going to be another likely, right? I shouldn't say going to be, right? We would anticipate that if we complete the 3 up here, if this is 3, well, there's going to be another retracement. So there's going to be opportunities to swing trade this, right? We come back down. Here's the 4. Now we're going again, right? We're up to the 5. All right, now let's pull back here, right? That's what we're after here, is getting up here towards this, right? Maybe this high volume node right here. Well, let's do some measuring, right? So if this is the 1, this is the 2. Again, now wait a second. If we're getting up here, well, what is this, right? So is this the 1? Well, remember where we started. All right, over here on the Brave New Coin Liquid. Right. Well, this. We're trying to complete this. This is right here, coming into, what would that be? 57. We'd be coming up here to complete this 3, 4, 5 up here. So this would be 1, 2. It's easier to draw it like this, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up here for that 3 would give us that target up here, and now we're at new all-time highs. Well, we got to. It's going to be impulse correct, impulse correct, impulse correct, right? So if we come back over here and say, well, wait a second now. Based on what you're telling me in the Elliott Wave Theory, if this is going to be the 3 here, if we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is that the 3 here of this 1, 2? Well, it certainly could be, right? It wouldn't be far enough, relatively speaking, right? So if let's come back here. If we come out of log, now longer is longer, right? So it's not, oh, well, it wasn't longer in log scale. No, longer's longer, right? So if it's longer here, we wouldn't have to be worried about, oh, it's going to be the shortest, right? Log scale short. I mean, we want to use these tools and use that difference, but I would not say, well, it's not longer in log scale, so it's not valid. Not valid as a 3. I would propose to you otherwise. But again, our issue here is where's the next onboarding, right? Here's what I would not be doing, selling it where it is right now. Where's the next onboard? Well, we just think of it this way, right? Well, here's where we are. Where would we want to be buying? Discount, right? Where's discount? All right, well, here's halfway. So, well, think about it. Okay, if this goes 3 and we come down 4, we're not likely to do this. Right, so you'd be playing off of the wave count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going up for the 5. Now down here still would be of interest because if I get this out of here, if we complete this 5, what are we anticipating? Well, let's just say we complete the 5 up here, and let's get our okay. All right, so and then it would be anywhere in this range down here. You out of there. Anywhere in this range down here to 30K, right? 1, 2. Then the big dog, right? Then the big one's coming. Now we don't know if this run here gets us to the all-time high, because if I look at it on a daily, something we're going to need an extension in something to get there. So if we get up here, maybe we're doing this spring of next year. Again, we don't know what would cause this. We're just kind of laying out a roadmap here. If we don't get a big kicker, a big extension in one of these legs, well, at this point, it would be either the 5th of the 3rd or the 5th of the 5th. It would give me that big kick to take out that high. I don't like to plan for something abnormal, right? So I'm just going to plan for, okay, well, length of the 1, project. When I get the 4, well, then I can start to do some projecting there. I can take the length of the 1. If my 4 was here, I'd be projecting for that 5 up here. Let's just use standard ops. Now that's logarithmic, but I would use that as a target, which would be right near the old high. If I do this, what would we be anticipating next? Right? So don't feel like, oh my God, I didn't get it. I missed the whole thing. Maybe, maybe not, right? If we're due for if this is going to follow, Elliott tendencies, we'd be looking for a retracement to come back and, well, here, the edge of value here would probably, this is going to push up higher, something to come back in here into the high to mid 30s would be very reasonable to anticipate that. You look at it and you go, well, what would cause that? Well, no idea. No idea what would cause that. What we can look at and say, well, what would cause this? We can look here now and say, what would cause it to do this? Why? Right? What's the trigger event? ETFs. That's what we've been waiting for through all of this, right? They're coming, they're coming, they're coming. They're not coming. Damn it. They're coming. Oh, wait, they're coming. Nope. They're coming, but they've been delayed. They're coming. Too much money to be made. Okay, so that's where we sit here. Hang on. All right, that's probably too long for Bitcoin. Shit. Sometimes I realize I've gone too long, and there's not much I can do about it, right? So maybe if you fast forward through that, there's a lot of just me rambling about what I anticipate to come. Okay, so you got my long-term and my short-term counts there. So hopefully that gives you something to think about. Okay, let's with that, let me pause for a sec. 3 alts we're going to look at today: Matic, Solana, and Chainlink. Okay, right? All 3 that are kicking and now starting their retracement, right? So it's just, it doesn't do much good for me to show it to you when it's just raging higher, right? Okay, well, there it is, raging higher. We got to wait for the retrace. All right, well, these have raged and now they're retracing. So this is Matic. I'm going to do it on Binance over here, and then I'm going to come over for execution on BitGet. I've got to go to Binance because they have more history. So the challenge with Matic down here is the lows down here are very sloppy. We don't get a clean finish. And so it becomes a question of where do you want to start the count from? It's just not clean. There's not a clean finish down here. So either you're going to truncate something or you're going to force fit something. My view is I'm not going to get caught up into what the fuck that is. It could be, because we don't actually sweep this. It could be 1, 2. You can see the 3 there, the ABC, but it doubles. And then you got another 3. Right? So I'm more inclined to say, okay, well, The low is in this vicinity, but then we come off of it, right? Rip roaring, just beautiful impulse, right? Comes right off this, boom. Shallow too, right? Very shallow too. If I can get it right on that pivot. ABC. Well, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So now I've got an internal impulse right here. Note here we cluster, right? The volume profile is so useful, right? Okay, okay, this makes sense. We go sideways here. Here's the POC. So I've got a big demand zone down here should this thing start to retrace. I'm right on the edge here. Look where I am. Look at the God MA right there. We're just tagging it. But we're doing it right here on the edge, right? Right on the edge of this, well, the ledge edge, right? Market does not want to come down any lower, right? Because there's very thin support here. Now, if it did, you know, this trade's going to look less attractive because right now the premise being that, okay, I've got the 1, 2, 3, I'm in the 4 here. I don't really want this dropping any lower because then you're going to have to change the count. Then your thought would be 1, 2, oh, okay, I guess this is 3, 4, 5, and we're in the 2. Okay, maybe, right? So I'm sorry, I can't deliver you the risk-free trade, but I can certainly tell you here, the risk reward here is very attractive. If this is going to hold as the 4, okay, well we can put a few, here. Let me go over to my to BitGet where I would trade it. Oh shit! Do I need to give you anything else over here in terms of long term before I go over there? Oh, well, so here you see the same problem, right? So that's why I had this. Should have pulled up so many today. Almost forgot. Okay, right, so here Solana, Matic, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It's much like Bitcoin. ABC, this doesn't work as an impulse. So we'd have a shallow Y here, and we're back into the fuck. Who knows where that low is because there's not a clean finish. But this impulse, and essentially the premise being, okay, we've got a 3 here, right? And now we're going again. All right, that would be the premise here. So as we now come back in here to look at this on a smaller time frame, where I would trade it and where I do trade it on BitGet. Oh, okay. Well, so here's right. So all I've done here is just draw the entire volume profile, right? So I can see. Oh, okay. Well, here's is that all right? Accumulation. Not an unreasonable thought. Oh, there's a whole lot of Wyckoff all over the place in crypto. Well, many assets, right? So accumulate. Now here's the. You don't really have much of a spring, right? But you don't have to have a spring. You can make a case, oh, maybe, touch, and now impulse, right? So we're coming off of that with this impulse. Okay, well, do we know for sure that that's a 4? Of course not. Okay, I'm looking at this. I don't have great channeling because of how shallow the 2 is. So it's possible this count is, you got to make your own judgment here. It's very possible that we complete it and it's done, right? That we did it here. Very, very possible, right? This starts to look better, right? We'd kind of put it up here and oh, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, but again, I come back to, while there's no obligation the market do this, where does it tend to, right? We're trading probabilities, that's all we get. Where does it tend to go on a 2? So do you think, is Matic coming from, what are we at here? 80, we're coming another 10, 50, well, shit, that would be like another 20% lower. Maybe, right? So one choice is to sit here as we're tapping into this potential demand and just sit it out and say, okay, I'm going to wait, right? If this is done, well, that would be shallow for the 2. If this is a 1, well, that's shallow for the 2. You can understand why it's pausing here, right? Demand. If it comes down a little bit lower, there's a low risk trade there. I guess this is a long-winded way of trying to get there. There's a low risk trade here. Let's label it so you see it. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C. Now, C of what? I propose to you that you've got this as a candidate. Let's bring that up a degree or two. That you've got this as a candidate. We're tapping the supply. We're at the edge of, well, here's the value area for this PD array. Okay, so high, low, right? Well, okay, we come down here. We've got a, that's including this here. So that's a candidate here to come in for that 4. Let's go down to a 1, see how clean that is, right? How we look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not bad. Okay, so now where's the, how to approach that? Oh, I'm at 30. I'd probably go to 30, but not much less than that. Okay, do I really have a 1 going there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now, all the 5 of the 5 of the 5 is a clean finish. I wouldn't mind seeing that get a little further along, right? Some sort of, if we get like this and like, okay, bring it back, right? So then you have a little more conviction rather than, oh, I'm picking the turn. Okay, there's the 3, right? So because look here, if you're trying to pick the turn, it's likely coming back to right where you'd be. I mean, within ticks, right? Again, I don't know this is coming, right? That's never what the allocation is saying. It's just, well, what this would be. Reasonable location to anticipate some resistance. Oh, there's my 5. Rather than, oh shit, maybe it's a 5. I think it could be a 5. Looks like it finished. Oh, maybe that's the 2. And then you're stressing down here and taking this risk without any confirmation that you have a good low here. It could be a low, but we don't know. Nobody knows. If somebody tells you they know the low is in, grab your wallet because they're after it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I got a 5. Now, do I get a 3? Right back to right. Like, is your entry location right going to be better or worse? The only thing that would happen, again, I don't have this, but the only thing that would happen here, I'm going to have more conviction. I'm going to be more comfortable taking that risk there. Oh, I got my 5. I'm at my 3. I'm at a high volume node. I've got I can manage the risk. I'm in because I can see what's happening, as opposed to I think that could be it. That might be it. Oh, let's go long. Lots and lots and lots of people trade like that, right? Most people are not successful trading. Do you think might that have something to do with it? Really, what if you can't wait right here? Why are you buying that? FOMO. I've yet to meet the successful FOMO trader. Okay, right. So there's Matic. I gotta speed it up here. I'm gonna go 2 fucking hours, right? I have a tendency to be long-winded here. Okay, so there's Matic. Okay, let's go to Solana. Let's do Solana, we'll do Link last. Okay, so these are all popping. And so, as I said earlier, okay, well here I'm on Solana, this is the spot on BitGet. Okay, long, again, very Wyckoffean, right? Is this accumulation? Sure, looks like it. Now, again, there's two schematics, right? Where you don't have to have a spring. So this would be the second, right, which wouldn't have that spring, right, which would have invalidated this as a potential 2. But we can look here and say, okay, well, again, all I've done is just draw the volume profile and say, okay, well, this area here, accumulation. I know, it's fucking, oh, thanks a lot, Sam, right, after the fact. I get you on that. Okay, so you're like, oh, fuck, I missed it. Did you? Did you miss it, right? That's the, people have so much trouble with that. You didn't miss it. It's just, if it's going, it's just getting started. Okay, we got a 1, potentially we got a 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So this, right, pretty good target up here. Well, we're trying to get on board, but we don't want to, fair value gaps, structure, we don't want to buy that. We want to wait for a retrace and buy that. Now, we can use some Elliott Wave tendencies here because I don't want to just buy, well, okay, if you liked it here, you're going to like it here. If you liked it here, you're going to love it here. That's not the thinking. I want to try and manage the risk here. Okay, I've got a candidate here for this to be going impulsive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got a good looking 3. Let's take that up and make it a little fatter, right? I got a good looking 3. Oh, I just got imbalance, right? This just, is that FTX? Yeah, that's it. That's just the free fall. Now, FTX is apparently about to dump a lot of Solana into the market, right, just to raise capital. Does that tank the market? Not if we're truly bullish. The market will absorb it, right? You might have a little volatility, and that might be part of what you'll see today and going forward, because that is not new information. Now, how does the market react? Well, again, it could just be that this is giving us the 4 that we're kind of waiting for. Because if you bring up a chart like Solana and you see that, well, you're like, oh, fuck. Well, I can't buy it. Well, I shouldn't say it that way, right? So this might not be the most fortuitous time to be buying, right? You don't, once we've had the breakout, right? I mean, even still here, right? Okay, we paused here, so here's a breakout that's successful, right? Remember, I'm never saying that breakouts don't work, right? We'd go sideways forever if we didn't get a breakout that was successful. I'm just, as I remind you, I'm always saying that's not a great place to enter the market. Well, here's one. If you did it, well, you got out, you got away with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So this looks like a good, clean impulse. Okay, again, tendencies. All right, that's all we get. What can we use here? Well, right back here to this high profile. I've got demand here. Oh, you probably can't see it here. That's a demand zone here. Well, you could look at it this way, right? It's just a cluster sitting right here, right before. Right, remember, a good demand zone like this will have displacement that comes out of it, right? So we get a little sweep of let's sweep some lows there. No, so not perfect in that capacity. It would have been better, right, if we'd had a little sweep of that low. But as we come out of here, displacement, there's a pretty meaty fair value gap right here, right? That's been mitigated, right? Now we got nothing until then. That's the last one it's already been tapped. Let's go down, let's go to a 2, see what this looks like coming down. There's the, well, that's new since I drew that. Does that look like you want to do this here? Hey, it's demand. Okay, maybe that's the A wave, right? Maybe that's the A starting before we go BC. Right? I'd be reluctant to buy that, right? I'd be willing to wait. Like, oh, okay, because what do I think is going to happen? I think that's going to happen. So I'd be willing to wait. Now, if you're super aggressive, do you see it? Do you see it already? We were talking about this yesterday on the live stream. What do you see here? Right, 3, 4, 5 of 3, A, B. Put that out of there. If we come down here, what do we got? Head and shoulders. That's head and shoulders, right? We can put it into Elliott speak. That would be 3, 4, 5 of 3, A, B, C, right? Creates the head and shoulders, and then here's the neckline, right? And you might take a multiple of that swing, right? So you might do it this way, just standard, right? Classic TA. You might do it that way. Oh, for an Elliottian, right? What are we going to call that? We're going to call this an A, a B, and a C. Into the 4, right? We don't know where that is. Into the 4, right? This seems a reasonable spot. This seems a reasonable spot. That's where that fair value gap was on the higher time frame. Reasonable. Oh, well, that probably covers it enough, right? So this is a hurry up and wait. Let's now, you could trade the B, right? If you want to be very aggressive. Even regardless of whether you're using Elliott Wave here, you just waiting for that 3 to complete so you get the opportunity to do this. Stop right here. Yeah, it's not hard. It's the same thing I've been teaching for 5 years. Oh, okay. Well, so now my stop would be under this. If it stops me out, oh, sorry about it. Get used to it, right? If it holds here, remember, if they always, right, the 1, 2, that would be the 1, 2 of the 5. If they can't get the stops here, right, that's telling, because everybody on the planet knows they're there. It's not like, oh shit, I wonder if there's stops there. You think the algorithm doesn't know that? We got a pivot here, Solana, right, one of the major cryptos, right? If they can't get that, they're going. It's going. Going. It just is, right? If they can't get that, then you've got a much better looking trade, and you're trading it with conviction. Like, you waited, like you feel good about that, right? If you get stopped out, okay, well, at least you were disciplined about the entry, as opposed to, well, fuck it, let's just, Well, let's buy it, see what happens. Exciting. Not a good recipe for success. Okay, that's Solana. So I got Matic, I got Solana. Let's go over to Link, another favorite. Full disclosure, I've got a pretty good amount of this. Well, shit. I own everything we've covered today, but it's not my intention ever to be pimping my own holdings. It's what looks good. Now, I'm not saying that I've owned these for a long time, right? So it's not like I said, oh, I bought the breakout. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just, I'm long these assets. So, okay, right, there's my disclosure. Okay, so here's link to the dollar tether on BitGet, right? So here's a textbook. Oh, fuck. Again, I don't get all caught up in the A, the B, the C. Here's the, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? We can say accumulation, pop off of the POC. There's the spring. Here's the test. It's not hard to see what happened there. I'm assuming, right? That's pretty easy to spot. I'm not in log scale here, by the way, right? That's just, here's the preliminary supply, automatic reaction, all this shit here. I don't even think it matters what you're labeling that. Okay, we've come out of it. Now, do we need to come back and test it? Well, I think any intentions to double check the structure here would have been right here, right? We just blow right off of that. So now the question becomes much like the others we were looking at: are we done here, right? Or is there a 4 or 5 yet to come? Well, let's go down to a 4. Well, what does that look like? Are you anxious to buy that? Doesn't look like it's quite done there. Let's that's a 4 hour. I mean, it could be ABC. Well, things to keep in mind, right? So it's all, you can be overly picky to where you never take a trade because you're so fucking picky, right? And then there's others where you're like, oh, fuck, close enough, let's take it, right? Neither one of those is ideal. Well, here, okay, this took a little bit longer in the 2. Sharp finish. We don't really have alternation. We don't know that this is done. But if we, again, same thing, right? You'll notice same thing every time, every asset, every chart, right? It never changes, right? That's the value of a methodology, right? You would stick with the methodology until it's not working. I've been doing this for 30 years. There's a reason why I do it the same way every time. All right, I digress. Okay, so let's, what do I got here? That'll work. This is a 4, so 1, 2, 3. Well, how is that relative to tendencies that we might look for in a 1, 2 relative to the 3? Well, it's so far gone, right? We blew past the 2, 6, 1, 8, right? So that's I think hard to argue that we don't have something impulsive here. The question is it done? Looks to me like there's a clean impulse inside of this, so I would propose no. There's 1, 2, big 3. We don't have the 4 yet. What do I got below? Oh, that's an MFI and an RSI and then a Weiss wave. Right? Okay, so that's the MFI is green, the RSI is red. Well, let's get in there. All right, and then we'll wrap it up here. That's not going to be enough. Let's go to a 60. We see this a lot lately, right? The 3, the coming off of the pivot is a 3. So it kind of puts a monkey in the wrench for just a clean count. So you look at it and you go, oh shit, what do I do with that? Oh, you got to make a decision here, right? So if you were thinking, let's get this back. So it's here, right? So it's not running it as it's not far enough. So you're kind of forced into, okay, well, I guess that's an ABC, WX. Oh shit, okay, let's work backwards, right? Is often the case, right? You're better served to do it this way. Okay, so we can work backwards from this. Okay, so there's a completed impulse right here. Okay, well, what's this? Could it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Probably not, because I don't have a I should, even if I go to a 30. It's not great, right? You're kind of stuck, right? So you get, often what you'll have to do here, they're kind of placeholders. Okay, W, X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like doing that, actually. A, B, C, because the imbalance is so god awful, but I might be stuck with that, working backwards, because it looks like there's another clean impulse here. So working backwards, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not a great finish, actually. I don't know you can get that done here, shit. Oh, this is at least proof that I don't run through these in advance so that I can cherry pick them. And that's a toughie. I don't have a lot of conviction in that count, right? So I'm not sure what we have here. I know I've got a good 5 here, so I would, now let's just check Al. Is Al involved here? Of course he is, right? So there he is, right? Of course. That's a clusterfuck up there. You might be stuck with ABC. I can't say I like that. Well, you say, well, what does that mean? You don't like it. Does that mean you're not going to trade it? Well, I would trade it less aggressively, looking for new positions until I can get a better handle on what I have there. Now, right, one perk for us within TDU, right, I can go to a brain trust of master Elliotticians that happen to be on my team and say, what do you guys see here? Right, and if you're a member in our Discord, you don't have to be in the belt system, just in our Discord, you get the same opportunity to do that I do. Hey, I'm looking at Link here, and I'm kind of struggling with this correction, as I am. These guys are all better Elliotticians than I am. I've been saying that for years. That's why I hired them. What do you guys see here? Right, and sometimes it happened to me yesterday. That's why I had to do a live stream. I came back with a count that was like, boy, I would not have thought of that. It was just absolutely brilliant. So, don't get so caught up in like, God, I've got to get everything just right, or I can't trade it, or I have to be a master Elliottician, or I can't trade. I'm not. I've been doing this for 30 years. Right? I'm a level 1. The guys working for me are levels 3 and 4, master. It's like having a master's degree in Elliottician, in Elliott Wave. Amazing, right? I mean, these guys are really good. Right? One of the advantages of our membership. Okay, so I don't know what I want to do here, other than I'm going to wait for whatever comes off of here. Right? So I don't want to touch this until I see a good clean 5, and I'll take the retrace. Much as I'm bullish, I don't want to force something here. I got that 5. Maybe I got a 5 here. Maybe I got this 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I got that little 5 is going in here. So I've got a candidate here for, oh, okay. Maybe I can get that 2, and I can get involved up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. Let's really dig in there. Is that going up for a 5 to complete a 1? Well, you can start to see it shaping now. Okay, so let's, all right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. We'll go yellow so we can see it, and let's go down a degree so it's super small. Okay, we have a candidate for a 1 coming in here, right? Right to the POC. Oh, I finished with this. Well, we've got this beautiful 5 here, right? That's what I was talking about, right? Oh, shit, how are we doing that? Probably have to do it here. 3, 4, 5, right? To give us the 5 of the candidate for a C. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I'm already looking good, if I can push right up here to the POC, get that 5, here's what I'm absolutely not going to do. Buy it. I would never buy it. Never, right? Only because I've done it so many times, I would never do it again. Right? So that's a hard rule for me. So if we get up here, I don't care what happens. I do not care, right? I disconnect myself emotionally from what happens there, because that's not in my rules. That's not in my trade plan. I'll wait. If it does this, I'll wait. I'm not worried about missing the entire ride of Link to new all-time highs. If it comes up here, I'll wait for the retrace, because odds are it's likely to come. Give me that 5, and then I will sit and I will just patiently wait for that. and then I'm looking for it. How do I get that back here and here? All right, so something like that. Maybe the edge here of this value block. All right, we got big edge like that. Okay, well, so could be. You know, it's going to be shallow. We don't know, right? So that's essentially that's low volume there. But I'd prefer to get it down here. Why? Well, let's see if we get this. Let's just use our PD array. Well, at least I want to buy in the discount. At least I want to buy it on sale. 1, 2, right? Doesn't have to be golden zone. We like the golden zone simply because it means the risk is lower. Oh, you could probably work this as a last stand. Last little swing down, came way, displacement, right? If it were to come down here, right? If you liked it above, you're gonna love, oh shit, that got a little squiggly. If you liked it up here at the 50, you're gonna love it down here. That's probably 707. Maybe one thought is, oh, I start at the 50, I'll add a little bit more at the golden zone, and if it breaks here and we come back down to this demand zone here, I'll add my last piece at the 707, and I'm ready to rip. So I would end up with an average price probably around the golden zone. 50, golden zone, 707, you're gonna end up right around the 65 with your fill. And then what will you have there, right? What's the next thing I would encourage you to do? Right, again, I don't have this. That's what I would suggest you do. Right, there's a good target for the 3. Oh, I missed the whole thing. I didn't get the 3. Did you? All right, nice high, low volume node there. Open that up a little bit. Did you miss the whole thing? Really? Maybe not. Okay, guys. Oh shit, I don't know why I'm going so long lately. I can't seem to do it more quickly. I don't know. If you guys don't, do this for me. If you don't mind the long videos, maybe say nothing. But if you're like, come on, man, these are too fucking long, just get to the point. I can take constructive criticism. If you'd rather I make them shorter, at least I can make the effort to do it. I don't plan these. I just pick some assets based on number of reasons. Once I get in there, I don't plan ahead, because then my feeling is, and the feedback I've gotten over the last many years now, if I just show you the count all done, then there's really no value there. If I show you the sausage making where I'm like, oh, it can't be that, and no, fuck, I guess I'm wrong there, or I had to get some help from one of my guys here on this count, then hopefully it becomes more relatable, as opposed to some fucking guy on the internet who just showing me, look at all the gazillions of dollars that I'm making, as far as you know, right? And who fucking knows if it's real or not? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I try and show you behind the scenes here in that process, rather than having everything done and teed up and perfect, and we worked this out all ahead of time. If you'd prefer that, we'd probably do that. But I'd wonder if you got enough value out of that. Just to sit here for a fucking hour. And hopefully nobody sits for an hour, right? They just fast forward and they get to whatever the part that they're interested in, or the asset that's what I do. If I'm like, oh God, this guy's going rambling on about Bitcoin, I don't need to hear a whole lot about Bitcoin. But if he's going to something that I'm interested in, I'll fast forward to it. That's why we do those time codes. So you don't have to sit through me talking about Solana if you're already in it, or you would touch it. That's the idea. Okay, guys, have a good weekend. Back next week. The live streams on Wednesdays. I personally, I enjoy those more than these videos, right? Because it's a little more interactive. But I'll be back on Wednesday, and you guys have a good one. We'll catch you then.